Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Changing the Climate, a show where we talk about the changing world around us and how we can make it better. Brought to you by Climate Change Realty. The only real estate brokerage that donates 50% of its net commissions to 501c3 nonprofit organizations dedicated to fighting climate change. AY, great to meet you, man. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join me on the show.
Yo, I'm happy to be here with you, man.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you. What you're doing is like really, really cool. I love talking to people. There's so many people doing amazing things in all different industries, so it's really cool to talk to someone. I really love talking to artists as well. And we always love to get the show started with a little bit of background on who you are, how you got to be doing what you're doing now.
Yeah, dope. I mean, it's so hard. It's like, where do you start in this like 8 to 10 year journey? But yo, what's up, audience? Ethan, you're the man. I be the one them called AY Young. I'm founder of something called the Battery Tour, right? Which is I do these renewable energy powered concerts. But it's kind of an impact model. I use the concert to raise money to send one person, one village access energy. So the Battery Tour, my performances literally get the world plugged in, right? So I'm the founder of the Battery Tour, and then I'm one of the 17 United Nations young leaders of the world.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What is like the access? You say like access to like solar power, or what is it exactly?
Yeah. So I mean, so Battery Tour and like what, a little bit about what got me started, being a sustainable artist, or powering concerts using renewable energy.
Yep.
I got off a TV show called X Factor,
Heard
in
of 'em.
2012. Yeah. And I got like 4 yeses from the celebrity judges like Ellie Reed, Britney Spears, Demi Lovato. Like, those are my mentors.
Word.
And I wanted to say hey to the world. I wanted people to hear my music. And I kept being told no all the time. Musicians know, sometimes it's hard to open or play for other artists or whatever, right? You don't have a lot of followers, or maybe they'll tell you, how many tickets has your last tour sold out? And I hadn't been on tour. I was just on a TV show. So, I was like, how can I, do a concert every day? Because that's what like Bruno Mars or Ed Sheeran, these guys are, Andy Grammer, my favorite artists, are performing all the time. And I wanted to be like them. So to answer your question in long form, I, was like, well, how do I power a concert anywhere? And I found out, wow, I can store energy from the sun, right, in batteries. And then if I store enough energy, I can do a concert. And that's how I started with the Battery Tour.
Word. Have you always been like interested in like sustainability and like improving the world in like creative different ways?
Yes and no. Like, it's interesting. As I get older, I do look back and realize that my parents were a big factor of everything. Like,
Of
now that
course.
I'm old enough, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like, how we can look back and like, oh, wait, I was homeschooled.
Really?
And my parents, we grew our own food when I was like 5,
Word.
you know?
And where are you
Yeah,
from?
and I'm from Kansas City, Missouri.
Cool.
So, like now that I look back, I know that my parents were always different. They were doing what's cool now when it wasn't cool. So I think all that helped me build Battery Tour, even though I didn't recognize that, I had been instilled with all this change,
What do they do? Like
if that makes sense.
what are their like careers?
Yeah. I mean, my dad, his name's Alan Young. He built something called Ivanhoe Neighborhood. It's a nonprofit.
Cool.
And it's a community focus, like, so I used to wake up and go downstairs, and I would see my dad with the mayor or the chief of police. Right. And what my dad did, growing up, I had 4 crack houses on my block, crack houses, drug houses. And I watched my dad, mobilize the community block by block, create block captains, work with the city police, help us get curbs and sidewalks. I used to do neighborhood cleanups like weekly, which I hated. So you see me? I'm like,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
You're good.
Yeah, I used to hate picking up other people's trash. It's like on a Friday, I want to be with my friends, and then like I got to pick up trash. But that's what my dad did, is he cleaned up our neighborhood and made it one of the most thriving neighborhoods actually in America, Ivanhoe neighborhood. And so those are my parents, change makers, man.
Yeah, I mean, probably when you look back, you're probably like, that is one of the most meaningful ways to spend like a Friday afternoon now that you're older and you've got like the larger worldly perspective, right?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And you know what I realized too? Like, I realized that, I watched my parents bring my city together, block by block, and I'm like, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah,
But country by country,
exactly.
city by city,
Yeah.
same thing.
How many countries have you been to now?
Yo, a lot. I'm about to head to Dubai now.
Damn.
Yeah,
Eh,
I know, but I'll say, hold on one second.
You're good.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, I'm gonna stay in my car just so.
No worries.
I'll say that the battery tour has brought, we've done over 800 concerts powered by renewable energy, close to 900. And then we've gotten energy access to over 17 countries. So it's been crazy.
That is crazy. It's just like when you go and travel outside the US, you realize how intense like our culture is and how huge our impact is on the rest of the world. So I'm just wondering like what your perspective is on how Americans have to like pioneer positive change around the world.
Oh, 100%. I'm sorry. No, I'm totally with it. It's interesting. See, I'll tell you a story. So I was in Saudi Arabia, right? And if anyone knows anything about Saudi, 5 years ago, they just allowed women to be able to drive. So you have to understand, like 5 years ago, women started driving, which really means about 2 years ago. Like women really started driving because it takes a while when there's a drastic change. Also, like everyone's, I think they call it the hijab. Most women had to wear the thing, and now they don't have to, you know, and. And I'll say this, and so it allowed. This is why I was able to perform. Like, they were like, 3, 4 years ago, and this was about a couple months ago. 3, 4 years ago, they were like, "Yeah, this would never work. People wouldn't be able to dance. This is against the religion." I'll say that, I made some of the best friends in my life in Saudi, and they are more influenced by Drake,
By
Justin
Drake.
Bieber, all of it, right? Travis Scott, Kanye West. I mean, you would think that they just were like grew up in America, right? American culture is the most influential culture in the world. I really do believe that, or one of the most, right? Hollywood,
Sure.
big movies, entertainment. And so, I think the responsibility of us, US artists especially, is tremendous. I think that with great power comes great responsibility, and we have the power to influence minds all over the world.
Mhm.
And I think that's why the music, and the message has to coincide with the action. And that's what I'm trying to bring to the industry
Mhm.
that I don't really see much of.
Yeah, no, I love that, and you obviously saw the new Spider-Man movie pretty recently, so that's good.
Who didn't see Spider-Man? But Spider-Man's always been my favorite. That's been a quote since,
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire
Oh,
and
for
before
sure.
that. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Right on. Yeah. So that's an interesting segue into talking about how like art can just bring people together, whether it's music, film, or television. I just wanted to like ask you your thoughts on that because that's like kind of the pinnacle of what you're trying to do is not only bring people together, create a positive like impact in the world, but I don't know. It's just like I love that idea of like people
Yeah,
can
heck yeah.
connect through someone else's like inner emotions is what is reflected in art, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the only way. I mean, I think we all know that. I mean, you know, my journey has built me to where I'm at now, where I've launched this Project 17. We'll get into what Project 17 is and me being a young leader and what I'm finally doing. I spent my life doing these concerts and things, but I learned at an early age that, like, even big business, right? Like, could, functions that people raise money, or corporations always hire the entertainment angle,
Mhm.
or the influencer, or the actor or the model to be the face of a campaign, etc., so forth. Entertainment, music, art, those are the things that connect to the heart. Business can scale, but the things that connect to the heart. And so, I think one reason why, say, the UN Sustainable Development Goals or so many initiatives truly fail is because they are missing that angle. So I just found a way, to combine, all these different things, into like a full package that includes art, using music as a vehicle, alongside technology, alongside all these pieces, right?
Dude,
That's what I
I
did.
vibe with that so much. It's about I feel like once I feel like there's this idea you go through high school, you go through college in the US at least, and we spend a lot of
Yeah.
time being told what to do, but I think the most important thing to do is figure out who you are. And then once you have that really strong foundation, you can build off of your values and then
Oh,
start creating things in the world to get your values out into the world. And then you'll find that other people are drawn to your values, even if they don't even know it. You
yo,
know what I mean?
yes. Even that's so. It's funny because like every school I speak to, anybody I talk to, and in general, my message, whether it's Tech Nine, Billie Eilish, or I'm talking to Samsung,
Mm-hmm.
I say, "What's your passion?"
Right.
Right. So that you just said the premise of my life and project is
Of
like in
course,
life we should be doing what we love to do
no
every
matter
day,
what,
right?
there's no excuse to
Right, no
not.
matter what. But bro, but I'll say this, and you touched on something that is life changing. So anyone listening needs to realize what this dude just said. By the way, in order to know what your passion is, in order to identify that, you have to know what your why is.
Yeah, like do you know
And you're
Simon
talking,
Sinek?
what is your, oh,
Dude, he's
100%,
that's
right?
the
You got to
boy.
know what the why is,
Yeah.
right? And I say something all the time. I say this. I say like, if you know what your why is, then you'll live the right life, because like there's so many people that like want to be famous, or want to be an artist, or want to be an actor, or say they want to do all this stuff. But when you really dive into yourself and get to know who you are and what your why
That's
is,
it.
maybe, yeah, right, like maybe you don't want to be a TikTok influencer. Maybe you just need attention because you didn't get attention from your dad
Right.
or enough from your, right.
That's
And
it comes from
so
the past.
the attention, right, and if that's the case, if once you dive in this and you realize that, wow, I don't want to be a TikTok influencer, I just like adoration from a lot of people because I didn't get validation from my own family when I was a child. Once you know that kind of thing, or whatever it is, like whatever the situation or job is, then it's like, then you can like be like, well, I don't have to be a TikTok influencer. You can jump off of a car and do a flip and land on your face and get attention, right? Or you
Yeah.
can get an OnlyFans account and get attention, right? If it's about attention,
Hmm.
I think knowing your why will help you like just figure out like what you should be doing and what your passion is.
It's like
It's just
it's like that compass that
like,
Jack Sparrow has in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like it points him to where he needs to go, man. It makes the decision so easy. What's your
facts,
why? What's your
dude.
why?
Yeah, I mean, why spend life? And I'll tell you my why. Why spend life doing, something that you truly, or even not knowing why you're doing what you're
That's
doing.
sucks.
But yeah, what's right? What's my why? I mean, I have to say I have a lot. I think I have more than one. I think that's weird to say, hey, I have more than one why, but I don't know, man. Ultimately, I'm still that homeschool kid that like wants, to be who he is, and I think I'm here to. I really think I'm here to be an outlet, to help the world, to help people, plug in and connect to their passion. And I think my why is watching the world get plugged in. I'm truly the plug.
Yeah, you're the plug, bro. Can you like explain that a little bit further? When you say get plugged in, what do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, what I realize is getting plugged in can mean so many different things. It can mean, to the community around you. It can mean within to yourself, right? Like this is why I say I have this fundamental belief. I'm wearing an outlet on my earring. I got one on my, my shirt. Battery tour is all about being an outlet for
Hell yeah.
change. I think everyone in the world is an outlet for change, and what that means is you're plugged in. Everybody's out. They take in action. They power and support change. And I think companies and organizations, artists, we're all outlets, right? And we can take an action to change the planet, etc. So forth. And I say all that to say that being an outlet is being plugged into yourself, knowing your why, leading with your passion. It's being plugged into the community around you, in the world and planet around you, and it's taking an action. That's what being plugged in is.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it can be tough in this country when you're like kind of groomed to be like an individualist and you have to find yourself and then find your community, I think is what makes the most sense in the US. By the way, my why is to meet clear needs so that we all can enjoy life. I use like the Sinek format.
Ooh,
Yeah, I feel like
you like
I
Simon?
love
You must watch some Gary Vee too and
a
stuff
little
like
bit. I
that.
mean,
What's up?
I like Simon. I like Gary Keller. He's a real estate guy. I'm a really big Ray Dalio fan as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him
I need
and
to
like
get into him. I'm not
principles. I love
familiar.
Kanye as well,
Ooh,
but I would consider him a
nice.
philosopher. Um,
He is a philosopher.
yeah. What I do want to ask you,
That's dope. I like your why, bro. I
it's
like your
clear, right?
why. That's
I feel like so
yeah.
like I would go through life and these things would happen. Like for example, like a girl would get like really drunk at a party and like pass out and like nobody would like take care of her, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is like a clear need that needs to be met that isn't being met." And it would just be like I would be looking at it and be like, "This is something I got to do." It's like when you look back through like your stories in your life that make you feel really emotional, you can pull out themes and be like, "Who am I like at my
Yeah.
core?" And that's how I got to that, as I realized I like being someone who can like fix obvious problems so everyone else can keep on enjoying the party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's dope. I actually really like that.
Hell yeah,
That's
bro.
good, man. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
So like, spreading the word about what you're doing, spreading the word about what people who have like similar values to us are doing through this podcast, connecting people through like real estate transactions, getting funding into programs that are really important, that's all part of that same thing.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally.
But I do want to ask you, like, so you and I are obviously really passionate about our projects, and it's really hard to like achieve change. So what do you think makes it like so difficult for more people to not like get involved and just go like, head first on their project, like something like you or I are doing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of factors when you're talking. I mean, because we dive into
Sure.
entrepreneurship and 10,000 hours and
Right,
everything
right.
else, right? Like, I mean, like there's so many. But if the question is more like how people can contribute to change, or like like we all want to
Yeah.
like how can I make a big impact? A lot of times, impact is only accepted when you recognize or it's accepted when you know what you're measuring it by or whatever, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. So like if you're measuring your success based on $1 million or impact on the world or change on the planet based on $1 million check, no matter what you do, you won't feel
Hmm.
successful, and you won't think that you did change. Change is steps. It's steps. Like this, the battery tour, myself, being a young leader was steps. You have to understand. I was doing 8 to 10 hour shows for about seven
Whoa.
years. I did 230 shows the year before I was elected young
Yeah.
leader. Like most people would give up year four. Like year four, about doing about 200 some essentially street performance shows. I'm quitting. I went out and did another year of 200 or so. Another year, to, right?
The
And
love
and
keeps
I've
you
just
going though.
begun. So yeah, definitely. And my why keeps me going, and I'm doing my what I'm passionate about. So, those are all, would keep you, going. But I say all that to say it took steps. I didn't just like wake up and went like, overnight success
No
doesn't
way.
happen. You and I
Yeah.
both know it's all part of a
Yeah.
plan.
Tell me
Right.
more.
So,
Tell me more
yeah.
about this 17 young world leaders. Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, man. I'll try to do
It's like I put in work. That's
a
how it came
shorter
about.
story. Yeah, I put in a lot of work. I overall, so what happened was about a year ago. I had probably done 800 and some concerts, gotten over 17 countries, accessed energy, opened up for T
Damn,
Pain, Aaron Carter,
crazy.
Shaggy, to write so many. I came back. I know it's crazy, right? I was in Honduras. I did like 3 concerts in villages that had didn't even have electricity. So I was like, wow, it's possible to bring music to places that don't have electricity. You know, and so I came back to America and I was expecting like it to happen. Like I was expecting like Tesla to be like, here's a check, a battery tour powered by Tesla. Keep getting the world plugged in. You know what I'm saying? Or like some rich investor dude that's like, hey, you're bringing electricity to over 1 billion people.
Did
Here's
you
some
call?
money.
Did you
Keep
call them?
doing it. Right, exactly. I mean, yes and no. Like at the end of the day, it didn't happen, right? So what I did was instead of complaining, instead of getting upset or cussing out, or whatever, I dug into the entrepreneurial resources in my community. I, graduated to fast track. I went through Clean Tech Open. I, built some more business model
Whoa.
stuff. And then I heard about this thing called Climate Week. You know what I'm saying? And in New York, it's this. all the climate people will come to New York for like a week, right? So I went there, and one of the first days I met this dude named Al Gore, shook his hand, you know what I'm saying? And he was talking, he had this big stage behind him, and I was like, I remember shaking his hand, I was like, yo, I looked behind this huge stage, I was like, bro, you should be powered by battery tour tomorrow. Like, right? Because he's got this huge stage, but it's powered by fossil fuels. And that got me on this tip where I'm looking at my phone. I heard about this girl named Greta Thunberg, and she was like this activist. And I went to her thing, and she was talking. But I looked behind her, and there was a diesel generator
Damn.
powering her. And I'm like, why? And it made me think, like, if you're talking about saving the planet, why destroy it while you
Yeah.
talk about it? Right? So I started powering speeches and panels from organizations that are now partners like Reverb and Ocean and Global and 4Ocean, all these major, sustainability nonprofits. Next thing I know, I met this guy, Paul Hawken, who wrote a book called Project
Yeah.
Drawdown and now The Regeneration. He became my mentor. Oh, Paul, that's my dude. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, so me, I have the
I
Regeneration
know.
song. I
That's
made
how
the
I found you,
Regeneration
man.
anthem.
It's
Oh
dope.
my gosh! Oh, let's go. So Paul nominated me to be young
Hell yeah.
leader, bro. Like he nominated. I didn't even know. Like I did go into the UN. I danced and everything, and I showcased the battery tour. But I never knew about this young leader thing. He nominated me. I woke up one day. They told me I won. I was young leader. I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. But I was. And they were like, you're the only representative, representing the youth of America, and like that's how I started. Now, part two of that story is funny. Anyone listening, you're probably like, okay, this dude's a young leader. What the heck? Okay, 17. I don't get it, right? Okay, there's these 17 things that the United Nations want to do by 2030, and it's all the countries. Like all the countries voted on these 17 sustainable development goals, right? They picked me because of goal 7 and 13. Goal 7 is called clean energy, like for everyone.
Hmm.
You know, it basically means like everyone needs to have access to energy. And then goal 13, it's called climate action, right? Which you hear about that all the time, sustainability. They were like, oh, well, you're doing a concert, but it's powered by renewable energy. So, it's climate, carbon neutral, climate action, right?
Is that what they sound
So
like
like, so,
at the UN?
yeah, kind of, not really. Only some rich corporate people
Yeah.
sound like that. No, that's like my corporate voice. So yeah, that's an opinion. So right, so I looked at these goals, and when you guys look at like what's this dude talking about, I looked at these goals, and I was like, yo, bro. I was asking people in Kansas City. I do concerts with mainstream. Like, I'm a mainstream. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows Justin Bieber's girlfriend besides me. Anyways, what were you saying?
Yeah, right. Okay, well, shoot, dang it. But you know what I mean? Like people, like, or when Kim Kardashian posts a picture, it breaks the internet. Like people know. Like what Kanye said yesterday. But if you ask somebody, hey, do you know what the gender equality goal is? Do you know about reducing? You might know about Black Lives Matter, but do you know that goal 10 of the sustainable development goals is like, hey, like everyone needs water. Goal 6, like goal 2 is like everyone needs.
Isn't that whack? Like what's up with that?
I don't know, man. And I was asking him, I was like, yo, like, how long has this been going on? And they were like, oh, they used to be the millennial goals. I'm like, yo, they've been trying to do this for like 20 years, right? So I looked at the goals, and it took me like
Damn.
right? I looked at the goals, it took me like 10 seconds to figure out what I was going to do as young leader of the world. I was like, okay, this is easy. I'm going to do one song for each goal, right? But each song in collaboration with one of the biggest artists in the world. But everyone is an outlet, right? So the artist will be plugged into their passion. So if Justin Bieber cares about animals, he's on goal 15, right? If
Hmm.
Jaden Smith is about water, he's one of the collaborators on, right? If Lady Gaga and Little Nas X, which is what I'm working on, and like hopefully like Dolly Parton care about gender
Hmm.
equality and LGBTQ, then they're on goal 5. So one song for each goal. And I was like, well, shoot, I'm an independent artist. I don't need a record label. Plus, a record label is never going to fly for this idea of giving the music to the people, right? Which is what we're going to do. So I need
I
17
love that,
corporate,
man.
right? I need 17 corporations, one for each song to cover the cost of the studio, the album, right? So 17 songs, 17 artists, 17 corporations. I need 17 impact partners, which is why Paul Hawken and the Regeneration is one of my partners, right? Because the music is going to fund the action, right? So, if that song would say The Weekend, which I'm trying to have, goal 2 with No Hunger with The Weekend, that would be awesome. because he cares about
It was
food.
going so well.
Yeah, the weekend is
Oh.
passionate about food. So why, if we do the no hung and 70 million people buy this song for $1, then well, the
Hmm.
impact organizations like World Food Kitchen and some of the ones that were signing on, they get people food. So the music is here to empower the action. Music for impact. So that's what Project 17 is I'm bringing every facet of humanity together: artists, corporations, nonprofits, charities, individuals, to be an outlet for change.
How is it like getting in touch with all these people, and how like excited are they to be involved with this?
I'll say it's going good. Like, I started musically with goal 17, which is all about partnerships. It's the goal that says, hey, we all have to come together to make all of these other goals happen. And I did it with a band called The Head and the Heart, which is one of the biggest bands in America. And, I just got connected to Paul Pullman, and I hope, by the end of first quarter, if everything goes right, I aspire to have Paul McCartney added on there. The song's also
Hmm.
been picked up by Netflix. Darren Olian and Zac Efron's show. It'll be on season 2 of Down to Earth, which was like the #1 documentary on there.
Yeah, it's
So
awesome.
in April, I will drop the first single, hopefully with Paul McCartney on there as well. And Project 17 really launches. And then there's a ton of stuff going on. I was blessed last year to spend a ton of time with Billie Eilish and her team. I did the inauguration for Biden. Working with the UN, I'm connecting to the Weekend and other major artists and ambassadors at UNICEF, from Pink to whoever, right? I mean, and this is what I'll say, and also I'll say this: we have confirmed to Tech Nine, the #1 independent artist in the world. He's from Kansas City. He's on the poverty goal, which is a goal I aspire to add Jay-Z and a couple of others who care about poverty. But ultimately, I mean, this project is incredible because
Hmm.
it's really about what you're passionate about, right? And what I've seen from artists or humans, which is why I'm doing a EDM version, we're doing an acoustic version, and kids version, is at the end, whether you're Marshmello, Diplo, Shakira, Jimmy Kimmel, Barack Obama, when you look at the goals, there's something you care about, right?
Yes.
Like it could be poverty. You could tell me it's plants and agriculture. It can be industry infrastructure. It could be LGBTQ, Black Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. Like the goals, there's something that you as a human connect to, or as a
Hmm.
company you connect to, and that's what this project is. And so I just see a bunch of passionate companies, people, charities that are plugged right into what they care about, and that's the best thing about it.
Hey man, that's life, and that's like the meaningful way to spend your time. And like you can hear how passionate you are, and your values are very obvious that you're really interested in helping people. And there's so many others like you out there. But I did want to ask you, like, how do you deal with the reality of like humans tending to usually prioritize like their own self interest over goals like this when you're out in the
Woo!
community trying to talk to people?
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard,
I have an
right?
answer as well.
I want to hear your answer.
So here's the whole impetus behind my business is I really love this theory called enlightened self-interest, which is the idea that by always considering others before yourself, you ultimately serve yourself at the deepest and most fulfilling level. So like rather than going after material desires or something like that, you go after serving others and you realize that that's like the most fulfilling way to spend your time. But I don't think that works for everyone. I think that would work for someone like you, obviously, but it's a way for me to be like, hey, you are you prioritizing your own self-interest by living a life of service, because I'm like a living example. Like I'm having so much fun talking to you, I'm loving my business, I'm loving my life, and I'm obviously like I'm giving away all of my money, I'm trying to prioritize other people above myself, and that's what makes me happy and most fulfilled in life. So I try to lead as an example. But like I think it's a theory. It's in Christianity and Judaism, and all the main religions talk about the same shit. Like they've been saying the same stuff over and over again. It's like people
100%.
just need to actually listen.
No, you're spot on. I mean, me and you are so similar. We basically live by the same doctrine. You know what I'm saying?
That's how we got
Whether
connected.
whether you say exactly right, whether you say everything's mutually needs to be mutually beneficial to a degree, or just also in life we always feel best when we give. I think we're here to give. We're here to give and share our talents. We just need to be living in our purpose, or our why, the correct why. That's it. I say that's exactly the case. Now this is what I'll say. You know, uh, always coming from a place of love and things like that. But what I'll say is, and no pun intended, the climate has changed, right? Like, and by that I mean it's becoming cool to, dude. I remember 4 or 5 years
Yes.
ago, right? Right. I remember 4 or 5 years ago, I started looking on Instagram, and every girl was like doing yoga, like eating healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like vegan. Like it's tight to be like I literally have seen posts where people go hard and go at someone for using a straw. Like, why are you using a straw? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. Like what? Oh shoot. Like it's changed so much that it's cool to be sustainable, to go thrift shopping and stuff, right? Like so,
Hmm.
when you're talking about bringing a project where it's like, you have to understand there are managers and agents in the entertainment business that are telling their artists, hey, say something about sustainability. Just say that you drive a Tesla. Like
Uh-huh.
you care for the world, right? Say something on like they are literally looking for this. And so it's kind of crazy because when the world didn't care about what I was doing, I wasn't cool. But now all of a sudden I'm cool. Now it's cool to talk about inequality and Black Lives Matter, or this race matters, or whatever, right? It's these sustainable development goals, this give back, this impact model, this like idea of you have to stand for something. Whether you're a company now and you're Coca-Cola and you have to stand for something, or you stand for nothing, you know, that all is perfect. Corporate social responsibility. Now people care about the impact on the planet, the world. They, and so I'll say that it's very easy for me now to connect this project to
Yeah.
people because they're looking. It's just timing is everything,
Sure, that's one of the big principles in having a successful startup
right?
company is timing is one of the biggest factors. But let's be honest, man. Like you were destined to succeed either way because you didn't care if you were going to be cool. You did what you believed, and as long as you continue to do that, you'll never run out of energy. You know what I mean?
Facts,
You'll
bro.
wait until the time comes up.
Facts, bro. Like that's people need to hear you. You should repeat that a second time, bro. Listen to what this dude Ethan is saying. Like, this is the key, man. It's not following the crowd. It's recognizing your why, right? It's
Hmm.
developing your passion, and then it's doing it. Every day, and not giving up because but you also do love to do it, so you have that boundless energy,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, what I just said is that like you didn't do something because you thought it would be cool. You did it because you believed in doing it, and that would have kept you going no matter through what. And then eventually, trends are always changing, so eventually your time will come as long as you just keep on doing what you
Your
believe.
time will
But
come. You stay true to yourself. You believe in yourself, right? You say hey to the
amen.
world. Exactly.
Cool, bro. Well, it's been great talking to you. Do you have any specific advice for people who can like advice for them transforming their ambitious goals into like actual accomplishments?
Yeah, yeah. My advice to anyone trying to pursue any goal, and turn into an accomplishment, it's just take a step every day. I wrote a song, called "Creep Creep" about like just taking a step every single day. That's all it is. And again, we can get into this concept of 10,000 hours and mastering something. I used to play basketball. I was Division 1. I'd
Hmm.
wake up every day and I would shoot 500 shots on the gun in the morning. And then after practice, would shoot like another 500 shots, right? Every single day. Stephen Curry didn't get to where he was, you know, uh, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, sports players, without putting in that kind of time and work. You got to know how to allocate your time. You got to take a step every day. You got to be consistent. You got to put 10,000 hours into whatever angles those are. So I would say do that, and definitely celebrate all the small things. That's the hard part. Is when you make an
It is.
impact, you might not see it as a freaking impact because it's not the big vision. You got
Hmm.
to learn to celebrate that,
I
man.
love that. Um, so you've been going for how long have you? When did you start the battery tour?
I know. I keep saying
Is it
10
eight
years,
years
but
ago?
I know, yeah, when I do the timeline, I've only been doing the battery tour for 8 years. I'm not on 10 years yet. Wait, no, eight, no, wait. 2012. is when it started. So I am on 10.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Word.
on
So
10.
let's go. Congratulations, man. I'm excited for another 10. So it's 2022 now while we're recording this. I just want to ask you,
Yeah.
where do you think you see yourself in 8 years when we are supposed to be hitting these goals in 2030?
Oh yeah, 8 years. Where I see myself, man. Where I see myself in 2 years. 3 years. I think I know this is gonna sound crazy,
That's my
but I
favorite
will
type of stuff.
be. I know. I mean, I'm gonna say this because now I will be the I will be the biggest artist in the world. You
Fuck yeah.
know, but I'll be the almost the opposite of what is typical. I'll be the biggest artist in the world while functioning like the Robin Hood of the industry, the music industry, and that's where I see myself. I'll be the Robin Hood of the music industry, yet the biggest artist in the world.
Are you
If
are
that
you a
makes
fan
sense.
of Chance the Rapper? That does make
I love
sense.
Chance. I love Chance. I love
Yeah.
Macklemore. Great business steps that they've made.
Well, I just remember I was really into Chance. He was coming popular when I was in high school, and he was really big on not having a label. And I guess Jay-Z did something similar where he just made his own label, right? Is that kind of are you
Yeah,
talking
and
about something completely new?
everyone's going that route. Logic doesn't have. I mean, he has a label, but he's not a major. He's not signed to a major. Wiz Khalifa just got on the air and said after his cycle goes through with this last album, he's going to be an indie artist. Labels. Here's the thing that people have to understand. Russ, I love Russ. There's a rapper named Russ. Do you know Russ?
Yeah.
You know Russ?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, Russ will give you a lot of clues. At the end of the day, a label is two things. A label is connections, right? And then they're a budget, money. They're a loan. They're a bank, right?
Mhm.
The problem with their loan is they give you, $1 million advance or whatever, 200,000, whatever, but they want to own 90% of your venture, of
Yeah.
your property, of your everything, your business, your intellectual, the
Mhm.
music, everything, right? I'm better off going to a real bank, getting a line of credit, right?
100%.
And then paying for their connections because all the label's doing is spending 250 $1 million on a single for radio. They have all these different services that they hire out to do X. So when you look at Chance the Rapper, you talked about Chance. I was going to say Macklemore. You have to
Mhm.
understand, Chance the Rapper spent I think $300,000-$400,000 to market his album, but he hired out like a lot of pieces at Def Jam, right? So that's what the
Yep.
label would do. If he signed to the label, they would just use their people. But he came in as an independent and used his own money. So the question is, do I need a label or do I just need a loan? And I need to know who those connections are to hire them out.
Mhm.
I'll take the ladder that keeps me owning my music. I can make my own decisions, and I'll figure out how to
100%.
raise that money,
Yeah, like
right?
you
And so
said.
that's what we're doing.
Yeah, I love it, man. And like you said, we're in a whole new world where it's becoming more common to do stuff like that. So when you say be the Robin Hood of music, are you talking about using being the biggest artist in the world and using that all that influence to give back to the people? Is that what you mean when you say that?
That's exactly what I mean.
That's
You got
dope,
it
man.
right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to understand, like, I'm about to make, like, the goal. Like, let's just take an idea. The
Hmm.
goal is a song with Lady Gaga, maybe Lil Nas X, and Dolly Parton. It's about gender equality, right?
Hell
Which
yeah.
is go for. You're gonna make a lot of money, right? Maybe let's pretend 100 million people buy it for $1, because it does. I'm giving that to those causes. We're giving the music away to make impact. That's Robin Hood. That's the song on Goal 7, which I want to do with Akon or somebody like that, right? We're gonna give it away to get people access to energy, what the Battery Tour has been doing for years, right? Build boxes, microgrids, etc. That's Robin Hood if I ever heard of one.
Bro, that's like the coolest thing I think I've ever heard. Wait, we're definitely on like the exact same vibe. I hope like more people like us are listening and realizing that whatever industry they're in, whatever they're passionate about, they can do the exact same things and we can hit all of these goals in the time frame that we want. AY, man, this has been amazing, man. I love everything you're doing.
Dude, thanks.
And any final pieces of advice for any young people listening passionate about building a better world?
Nah, man, just be you, say hey to who you are, be an outlet, man. Stay plugged in, know your why, identify that passion, take a step every day. Thanks, Ethan.
My pleasure. All right, everybody. So if you or anyone else you know is looking to buy or sell a home anywhere in the USA and would like to create thousands of dollars in donations without any cost out of pocket, please visit ccrboulder.com today.